Welcome to this tutorial on designing the logic for the classic snake game. Today, we are going to break down exactly how the snake moves, grows, and interacts with the world. By the end of this video, you will understand the core algorithm behind this timeless arcade classic. First, let's understand the world. The snake game is built on a 2D grid. Think of it like a chessboard or a spreadsheet. Every position on the screen is defined by an X and a Y coordinate. Movement in this game is discrete, meaning the snake jumps from one cell to the next adjacent cell, rather than moving smoothly like a character in a 3D game. How do we store the snake in our code? The most common way is to use an array or list of coordinate objects. The first element at index 0 is typically the head. Every subsequent element represents a segment of the body, all the way down to the last element, which is the tail. This ordered list allows us to track every part of the snake efficiently. The game runs on a heartbeat, often called a game loop or a tick. 5 to 15 times every second, the game updates. In each step, 4 things happen. We read the player's input, calculate where the head should go next, check if that move is valid, and then update the screen. This cycle creates the illusion of continuous gameplay. To move the snake, we first need to determine where the head will be in the next frame. This depends on the current direction. If moving up, we decrease the Y coordinate. If down, we increase Y. Left means decreasing X, and right means increasing X. We calculate this new position before touching the rest of the snake body. Here is the clever part. We do not need to manually update every single body segment. Instead, we use a shift technique. We add the new head position to the front of our array, and then we remove the very last segment from the back. This makes the whole snake appear to slide forward one step while maintaining its length. We must enforce rules on movement. The most important rule is that the snake cannot do a 180-degree turn. If the snake is currently moving right, we must ignore any input that tries to make it go immediately left. It must turn up or down first. This prevents the snake from instantly colliding with its own neck. What happens when the snake finds food? We compare the head's coordinates with the food's coordinates. If they match, we still add the new head position, but we skip the step where we remove the tail. By not removing the tail for one frame, the array length increases by 1, effectively growing the snake. Finally, we need to know when the game ends. There are 2 main conditions. First, wall collision, if the head's coordinates go outside the grid boundaries. Second, self-collision, if the head's new position matches any coordinate already existing in the snake's body. If either of these happen, it is game over. So, to recap the logic, we store the snake as a list of points. On every timer tick, we calculate a new head position based on direction. We add that new head to the front of the list. If we ate food, we keep the tail, otherwise, we remove the tail. Then we just check for collisions. With these simple steps, you have the complete logic for the snake game.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.